Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi, I'm Amirul Azim, and today for the phonetics and phonology subject, I'm going to explain about a comparison of videos about the accent variations after the analysis that I've done about the videos. So let's take a look. So there are two videos that I've chose to be analyzed. The first one is this, which is a full interview or a conversation between two actors, which is the first actor here is a British speaker, Andrew Garfield, and the second one is Zendaya. She is an American, so she will speak in American accent. And the second video is also an interview, but one speaker is the same, which is Zendaya, the American one, and the other one is Tom Holland, and he is British. So that is all for the video that I've chose to analyze. So before we go through the comparison, we need to know the types of accent variation first. So from my analysis, I have gathered 4 types of accent variation. The first one being systemic, the second one is distributional, and the third one is lexical, and the fourth one is realizational. So I'm going to talk about it one by one in each part of the video. I'm going to explain the definition for each before I compare. So for systemic variation is a type of difference between accents of a language where accents have different phonological systems in terms of the vowels, consonant sounds, syllable structures, or even intonation patterns. So basically, systemic will affect the sound system. So let's take a look at the first analysis under systemic. So the first analysis focus on consonant, the rhoticity, which is the differences in the rhoticity R sound, the phoneme sound. So for American and British, they have slight different rhoticity. For American, the sound is rhotic, which they tend to be pronounced much stronger and more pronounced, while British accent, the sound is non-rhotic, which means the sound is omitted or dropped. So let's take a look at a few of these examples. The first one is part. In American, we say it as part with the sound, while in British, we say it as heart with the longer vowel R. While the second example here is work, just the same, work for American, and British work. And the third one is weird, while in British we say weird without the sound. So let's take a look of the proof of these examples here in the videos. So for the first example, which is focus on the word part. So here's the first video.
Him authentically, and how and what parts of myself need healing.
Part. He said the word part without the sound. While the second video,
there's part of me in
I
that.
could end up.
There's part of me in that. There's part of me in that. You can see you can hear the phoneme being pronounced in the word part. For the second example is focus more on the word work. Let's take a look at the video.
One of the best things about playing Spider-Man is getting to work with Zendaya.
One of the best things about playing MJ is getting to work with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
So can you guys see the difference in rhoticity?
Yeah.
Tom Holland would say walk, while Zendaya said work with the sound. So let's take a look at the third example for the word weird.
Changed.
It's always changing. You had some weird ice cream the other day.
Was that weird?
It was weird.
Can see the omission of and the appearance of sound. Okay, let's take a look at the second analysis. Same under systematic, but focus on consonants, the pronunciation of the T sound, the T word or T sound. So here are two examples here, the word to and the suffix T. So for American, they tend to change the word T to D, the sound of the phoneme T to D. So for example here, the word to, they will say to have, to have. I'm going to show the example later so you can understand the difference. And the second one is under the suffix to. Basically, the word volatility. For American, we say volatility, while in British, they tend to pronounce the t sound at the end using the phoneme t, like volatility or vulnerability. While in American, we say vulnerability. Can you see the difference? Here are examples that I found in the video. So I just mentioned before, the sound is pronounced as a quick flick or flap like the sound for American, while British, the sound is more pronounced. Let's take a look at the example. So for the first video, focus on the word to or to.
No, but for real though, so how did you sustain access to that agony, access to that rage, access to that yearning?
Can you guys see? Access to that, access to that, access to that. Okay, let's take a look at the American
I
one.
don't know how to.
No,
I'm
no,
still
no, no,
trying to
but
figure out how
I'm
to
gonna-
take him.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to. Instead of I don't know how to, I don't know how to. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's take a look at the second example under the suffix t. Focus on the word that consists of the suffix t, like vulnerability, volatility. Okay. For the first video,
There's unflinching vulnerability.
vulnerability. In British accent, they tend to pronounce the t sound, while in American,
No kind of structure because there couldn't be. There had to be a level of
Right.
volatility and unpredictability to her mood.
volatility and unpredictability. The t sound is changed to d. Okay, can you guys see? Okay, let's take a look at the third analysis under systemic, which is, and the focus is on the vowel and the change of diphthongs. So differences of vowels can be seen in both accents. So for American, here example, answer, for answers and avocados. So for American, they tend to pronounce the word answers with answers. They change the vowel sound in the first syllable and the second syllable. While in British, they tend to they change the monophthongs and the diphthongs to answer. And if you can notice here, British is non-rhotic, so they drop the R as well, the same as the first analysis. And the second one is the change of monophthongs and diphthongs. The amount of monophthongs changes in one word. Like for American, avocados consists of 2 monophthongs and 1 diphthong, while in British, there are 2 diphthongs and 1 monophthong. Can you see the difference? Previously 2 monophthongs, but this time 2 diphthongs instead of 2 monophthongs. I'm going to show the example and I'll explain it. So for the word avocado,
You should like live off avocados.
Yeah, me and you are like this today. Oh my, it's definitely. You'd have to take avocados.
Yeah.
You'd have to, like from a pure logistical standpoint, it'd have to be avocados.
so for Zendaya, they said avocados, while for the British speaker Tom Holland, he said avocados. The last syllable is changed to a different diphthongs with different vowel. Like for American, they tend to use the sound o, while in British they use o, e, o. Okay. So and in both of this, the word avocados, they put the stress in the third syllables. So avocados, 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 avocados. Okay, so the second example here is answer, still under systemic but change in vowels.
What are you laughing at?
That's a good answer.
That's a good diplomatic answer.
Answers for American and answers, answer for British. Okay, now we have covered systemic. Now moving on to distributional variation. So distributional variation refers to the situation in which 2 accents may have the same system, but the environment where a particular phoneme occurs may differ. So in British accent, it mostly involves the palatal ear, the phoneme ear. So for distributional. So in British accent, the ear sound often appear in words like new and view, while in American, the ear sound is missing, like new. Example for specifically for new, like new and new. This is my new shoes and this is my new shoes. Okay, let's take a look at the analysis. For the first analysis, focus on the American accent. So the palatal ear sound is missing of some words. For examples here, new. The transcription without the ear, palatal ear. And endurance. There is no ear sound. So, however, in British accent, the ear sound is there in the words, like new, and endurance. So the palatal ear appears if they are in the British accent. Okay, let's take a look at the example first. So for the word new,
we knew this would happen. We're like, it's gonna go great off camera.
we knew it is going to happen. New without the ear. And the second video,
The endurance that I think you have to have with a character.
in American accent, the word endurance is pronounced as endurance, while in British, endurance with the ear. Okay. The second analysis is in British accent, the appearance of palatal ear in a sound in words, in some words. Like example here is reviews, music. But in this context, some words in British are also the same with the American accent. Like this word, undeniably, the ear sound appears in both accents. Like in most cases, British, the palatal ear appears and pronounced, and it's kind of the same with the American as well. But there are some words that are not appear there. So let's take a look at the video that I've analyzed.
Oh, that's tricky.
Yeah.
It's like reading reviews when you're doing a play or something.
Yeah.
Reading reviews with the ear. And then the second video,
Yeah, like that's
I think
what I call music.
music. Even though he is with British, but in American accent, we still say the word music as music, right? So that is all for distributional. The difference, this is just a comparison. Some accent may have the same principles, so we just follow the principles. Okay, moving on to the third variation, which is lexical variation, which literally means it refers to the different words between accents that serve the same meaning. Same meaning, but different words. Let's take a look at the example. For the first analysis here, only one analysis, which is the different word with the same meaning. So here is the meaning, which is a motion picture is a series of still photographs. So in American, they typically say movies, while in British accent, they say film. So that's a good.
To do this for the next 8 months because this is not a movie where I can dip up out of it, but
Okay, can you see that? And then for British film.
television show as well versus a film and
So in this video, she is conversing with the actor from British. So obviously she is going to use the word film. Therefore, the difference in the lexical variation is prominent there. The difference between film and movie, but the same meaning. And for the second video,
My favorite Christmas movies, and it is my favorite Christmas movie because I have such a strong connection with it.
so why does he say movie, but he is British, right? This video is taken in the context of an interview taken place in America. Therefore, he used movie, even though in Britain, they're going to say film. So moving on to the last variation, which is realizational. So the realizational means a type of accents difference where the same phonemes or set of phonemes is pronounced differently by different speakers. The same phonemes may have different allophones. I'm going to explain this later. Allophones are the differences in pronouncing phonemes or the same phoneme, but this applies in certain cases. So the variation exists in the pronunciation. The variation can be seen in the way the phonemes is pronounced. So let's take a look at the first analysis and the realizational, which is the allophones. So same phonemes, different pronunciation. Let's take a look at the first two examples first. So American accent, the word like and love. So like in American they say like, while in British they, as you can see here, they have the same transcription. However, because of the allophones, the way these two different accents pronounce the word differently. I'm going to show the video, but I try to explain it now first. So in American they say like, while in British like. Slight stronger in the vowel, and it changed a bit even though the transcription is the same. Same goes to love, the word love. In American they say love, while in British love. It is more thick. The accent is more thick and thicker, I mean. So let's take a look at the third and the fourth example here. As you can see here, the word can and so. If you notice, the transcription is slightly different. However, it is still considered as realizational. So the allophones only applies in few cases, like the first one and the first two, and the second one, the word can and so, also in realizational. So for American they say can't, while in the British they say can't, with slightly elongated vowel can't. While in American they say so, while British so, slightly different diphthongs. So this is still considered as realization variant in the accent. So let's take a look at the examples.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm an actor, and I look at myself I'm like, what a ridiculous job.
Yeah.
I have the coolest job. I love my job so much, but sometimes you're just like.
Like. It is light. The word light is pronounced like, lightly. And for British, they tend to make the vowels thicker.
You think that you can do that?
Yeah, totally. But the concept of Home Alone is actually terrifying.
No, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Like.
If I'm at Home Alone...
Can you see the difference? Like and like. Slightly different monophthongs or vowel. And this one is for the word love.
You do?
Yeah.
And why do I love this so much?
Why do I love this so much? You pronounce lightly when compared to the American, the British accent, the word love.
And I love the idea that
love,
maybe
I love.
Tom...
Love. Okay. The third example, also the same example, but for the word love, for British.
I love that movie.
I love
My mum and I watch that
Really?
every year,
Aw.
and it just like, honestly, the pair of us, every year, wet ourselves laughing.
You don't see that every day.
Love and like. Okay, the third example, can't. The word can't and can't.
It's nice.
He can't get his teeth cold. I can
can't
eat
do
ice
it.
cream with my teeth, but he's gotta like.
I can't do cold things.
I can't. I can't. He can. I can't. And for the word so.
It was like a connection already creating and forming, and when I met him, he was like, "Oh, that's her."
Wow.
And so I thought
And
that
so-
was quite fascinating. And then as I've gotten to be Rue, I feel like with certain characters, right, you have to search for them.
So if you notice, the vowel is like much more with the O sound. So when compared to the British accent,
Yeah, so, but that's so funny because
so
he never let any...
they changed the O sounds to O, with slightly different diphthongs. Okay, I think we have covered all of the types of accent variation. Systemic, the first one, rhoticity and everything, distributional and lexical, and also realization. So I think that concludes all of my comparison analysis of my videos, the videos that I've chose to analyze. So do you have any questions?
Okay, I have a question. You have mentioned about the.
Can you speak it a bit
Oh,
louder?
I'm sorry. Okay, you have mentioned that about the intonation and the word stress in all of the examples.
Mhm.
But can I know if you can point out the few rhythms just based on a few examples that you have provided?
like an example that I've showed you before about the avocados. And avocados, the stress is put in the third syllables, but I haven't mentioned about rhythm, right? So there's one video, there's two video actually, where I can point out the difference in terms of rhythm in both accents. So let's take a look at the video first. Let me check first for this one. Take a look at the way the sentence or the way the speakers speak. Well, basically, rhythm means the musicality in the way they're pronouncing or speaking. So there are some ups and downs in the way they speak. So let's take a look for Tom Holland first, which is he is a British speaker. So how is going to be different in terms of the rhythm?
Love that movie. My mum and I watch that every year,
Aw.
and it just like, honestly, the pair of us every year wet ourselves laughing.
If you notice the word, he tends to make the last pose, like last word in a pose, a bit higher. Let's take a look at the video back.
Love that movie. My mum and I watch that every year,
Aw.
and it just
My mom and I watch the movie every year. Yeah, they tend to make the year sounds a bit up, and he will drop down again for the next word. Let's take a look at the second.
honestly, the pair of us every
every
year
year.
wet ourselves laughing.
So
You don't see
basic-
that every day.
When you compare that with the last clip, every day, in American accent, they tend to make the word fall. The tone difference is noticeable. In a British accent, they tend to speak in a rising intonation. When compared to American accent, they tend to make it low, make it down a bit. Like I'm going to show another example where we can see the difference about the rhythmic or the rhythm or the musicality or the way that they're speaking. So for the second one, I think this one. Let's take a look at this video first.
Sometimes I'm like I'm an actor, and I look at myself like, what a ridiculous job.
Yeah.
I have the coolest job. I love my job so much, but sometimes you're just like,
But like the first video that I've shown about the rhythm is like the British accents tend to make the last word in a pause higher, but in American accent they tend to have dynamics, different ups and downs in the sentence. Like in here in this example, there are some lows and there's some high in the end of a pause. So you can see the rhythm depends on the what they are speaking, the context, maybe a statement or a question. But sometimes in British accent, even a statement is the end of the sentence is a bit higher, which makes you confused whether it is a statement or a question. While in American accents, they have variation of musicality in order for us to understand what she is speaking. So I think that's all for rhythm.
Okay. I also have another question. So in the British accent, the sound always pronounced like in the word to, and in American accents, does the pronunciations of the t always sounds like the sounds like relativity?
Okay, so you said that in a British accent they tend to say like to, with the t sound pronounced more, while in American accent they say d, with the t changed to d sound. So that makes you said you have listened someone say it in American accent the word t is pronounced the same as British, but to answer that question is basically it depends on the fastness, the way this person is speaking. Like I'm going to explain. They said like with connection, slow pace, so they're going to pronounce the t sound more pronounced. While I'm going to the market after this. So it changes the way we pronounce it. It depends on the fastness of how we're going to say it. Same goes with the British accent. So basically, the t sounds may differ in terms of the context or the fastness, the way they're going to speak. Okay, Hope that answered the question.
Thank you very much.
I have another question. In the realizational variation, you mentioned about allophones. Can you explain more about it and give another simple example for us to understand?
Okay, so let's take a look under realizational, right? So basically, allophones meaning a phoneme may have different variants. Like the p sound may be pronounced differently in different words. Like for example, pin, we say paper. We say the sound p with the aspiration sound p, paper, paper. While in some cases the word p is not as pronounced as we say the word paper, like stop, stop. So that is allophone, basically the same phonics, but pronounced differently in terms of the context. Another example is the word that. I think I can show you an example. The word that. So in America, they tend to pronounce the word that as that, that, lighter. While in American accent, they tend to, while in British accent, they tend to say that. The last word here is pronounced thicker in British accent. So hope that answered the question for allophone. Same phoneme, different pronunciation. So I hope that answers your question and gives you some input about the different types of accent variation. So I think that's all for me. Thank you.